I've made it very clear that I'm a brony. In fact, my love for all that stuff it's made quite a few cameos in recent videos. However, let me make the light brighter. There we go, that's good. Uh, Despite being a brony, while I have like written fanfics, not even about the show, I just write dumb fanfics because people like, hey, I want you to make me fuck this guy, and I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'll write you whatever, because my mind is really active. I get to do all kind of dumb shit. So yeah, I hand over fanfics to them. It's like 10,000 words of gobbledygook, but I've never really read one. One time, my sister did pass me a fanfic that was like 7 chapters of walls of text. It was a fucking examination, and I didn't finish it. I've never finished a fanfic. I guess I've read a fanfic, but I've never finished one. It was smut. It was about Korra and Asami from Avatar: The Legend of Korra. They were fucking each other real good. If there were machines and everything, and they were like, I'm squeezing your titties. Oh, give me that some of that ass. Oh yeah, like it was smut. It was fucking smut. And yeah, no, my dick was not hard at all. In fact, it was quite soft throughout all of it. So you know what? I'm gonna go find some good fanfic to read right now for us. Well, this is quite a dangerous route. I googled short smut. I clicked on this, but it led to some weird shit. I'm not gonna click it. 10 captivating short erotic stories. It's loading. Oh dear. That's interesting. Download. I don't think I should download this. The life. Wait. Whoa. Whoa. Let's read this. Let's read this. The life of a woman who prostitutes herself at the expense of her husband, or a man who had sex with a machine. Short erotic stories that you must read. Oh, this isn't the story. It's just like an ad or something. I don't know if I dare. I don't know if I dare to go through this. Okay, I thought it'd be cute to try going back to our beloved Korasami, because I fucking love them. And this looks like some fucking AO tree type shit. So I'm looking at the tags right now. There's high school AU, hurt, secret lies, amnesia, abuse, Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's a fucking lie, by the way. Dark, um, text to speech. How does that work? OTP, Bolin. What the fuck did Bolin do? So there's fucking the. I don't know why. Whenever sometimes my sister and I just like to scroll through AO3 and look at the dumb tags all the time. I don't use AO3 obviously, but my sister, she's a fiend for that shit. This is taking quite the dark turn. Suddenly I've clicked on a Tumblr link, and I've never used Tumblr, so this is what Tumblr looks like. I'm glad there's no fucking vagina spread open on my screen. I mean, if there was, I wouldn't have unpaused the video. But thankfully, we're just barely away from some vagina. I thought it'd be significantly funnier if I ended up going into something dumb, like an anime. So you know what? I just googled Jujutsu Kaisen smut, and you know what? I think I found something. My lover is Maki. Now, thankfully, my sister forces me to watch Jujutsu Kaisen, so I know exactly what's happening, even though I wish I don't. But now we can read this, not to change my voice tone. The late afternoon sun warmed the living room. Glenn sat leaning back on the low green sofa. Maki sat straddled across his lap. She had showed up at his door 20 minutes ago, dropping a long, heavy case in the hallway before practically collapsing onto him. She looked down at him, her eyebrows put together, and her fingers poked lightly at his rib through his shirt. You lost weight, Maki said. Her voice was flat, but she was looking at him closely. Are you actually eating when I'm not here? Or are you just living off instant ramen again? Damn, this guy's living life. Instant ramen? Ren let out a short laugh. His hand rested on her waist, his thumbs rubbing soft fabric of her shirt. I eat fine, Maki. I just get lazy with cooking when my girlfriend disappears for an entire month. He meant it as a joke, but Maki's shoulders dropped. She leaned her weight against him, bringing her face closer. The faint smell of cheap medical tape hung around her, and they could see a fresh, thin scrape on the jaw that she hadn't completely covered. I don't know why I'm doing a fucking National Geographic voice, but I'm stuck with it. I know, she muttered, her voice dropping. I'm sorry. Hey, I'm just messing with you, Ren said. I know, but still. She looked down at his chest, tracing a small circle on his shirt with her thumb, and he stares at her chest, because it's Jujutsu Kaisen. My boarding school has been insane lately. Excuse me. The teacher kept piling on extra work, and my track practices have been running late. They don't let us leave campus much right now. Oh, I really didn't mean to stay away this long. Ren kept his expression perfectly calm. Track practice, right. He knew exactly what she was doing. She was fighting curses, dealing with an insane sorcerer training, and surviving the meat grinder of the Jujutsu world. Meanwhile, he's missing his beloved meat grinder, his girlfriend. That wasn't part of the script. She lied to keep him out of it, treating him like a normal guy who needed to be protected from the dark side of the city. He let her keep the secret. You don't have to apologize for being busy, Len said. He moved his right hand up from her waist and cupped the side of her face, his thumb carefully avoiding the scrape on her jaw. Just make sure you don't overwork yourself. I don't want you passing on to me. That's a fucking lie right there, I can already tell. Marky smiled. It was a real, quiet smile. I don't pass out, she said softly. Sure you don't? Brent replied. Marky let out a soft breath and finally closed the distance. Her lips pressed against his, slow and familiar. Ren pulled her closer by the waist, letting her settle her full weight against him. She slid her hands up from his chest and wrapped them around the back of his neck, her fingers catching in his hair, and the kiss deepened. The apartment was quiet, but in the back of his mind, Ren knew her excuses wouldn't work forever. The Shibuya incident was getting closer. He couldn't play the clueless civilian forever. Maki pulled back just enough to break the kiss. She kept her arms loosely around his neck, but her eyes were watching him closely. When I was walking up to your building, she said, trying to make her voice sound casual, I saw a couple of girls from your high school hanging around the lobby. They were staring at your window. Ren raised an eyebrow, a slow smirk across his face. Obviously. Maki narrowed her eyes slightly. Obviously. Yeah, Ren said smoothly. I have a line of girls proposing to me every single day. Marky scoffed through the corner from a. What a bitch. I'm kidding. Her mouth twitched upwards. Oh, really? A whole line? Every day, Ren repeated. He shifted his hands from her waist, sliding them both sides. And here I was, turning down all those proposals. Just sitting around, waiting for you to finally get out of track practice. Marky let out a quiet laugh, the last bit of tension leaving her shoulders. You're an idiot. I'm your idiot. God, it's so fucking cheesy. Shut up. Shut the fuck up, Ren. He didn't give her a chance to reply. He leaned forward, pressing a warm kiss to the pulse point just beneath her jaw. Maki let out a sharp, quiet breath. Ren moved lower, trailing a few slow kisses down the side of her neck. Her hands tightened in his hair, pulling him a little closer. Before she could get comfortable, Ren shifted his weight. He tightened his grip on her waist and smoothly rolled to the side, taking her with him. Margie let out a short gasp of surprise as her back hit the soft cushions of the sofa. The position suddenly flipped. Ren settled over her, bracing his arms on either side of her head so he wouldn't crush her. He looked down at her, the teasing smirk on his face. Margie looked up at him, her chest rising and falling a little faster now. She didn't look like a hardened fighter right now. She looked like a girl who was exactly where she wanted to be. Margie's breath for a second, her amber eyes wide as she looked up at him. But just as Ren leaned in again, her expression shifted. Her hand slid from the back of his neck down to his chest. I swear, they use the word neck and chest all the time. Just say titty. Her palms pressing flat against his collarbone. There we go, there's some innovation. She'd push hard. Barely an ounce of pressure, but it was enough to create a firm, unmistakable boundary. Wait, Maki said, her voice a little breathless, but steadying quickly. She turned her head slightly, avoiding his gaze. Hold on, idiot. Ren paused, his teasing smirk softening into something more patient. He held his weight above her, not pushing forward. What's wrong? The line of proposals outside making you jealous? Maki let out a short, forced laugh, but the tension had returned to her shoulders. No, I'm just. I'm exhausted, Ren. Seriously. She looked back up at him, masking the deep, underlying hesitation in her eyes with a tired scowl. Coach ran us on the ground today. My muscles are cramping up, and I haven't slept properly in days. If we do this now, I'm probably gonna fall asleep halfway through and crush you. She frowned as a joke about being tired and heavy. But Ren heard exactly what she wasn't saying. He knew the truth. She wasn't worried about falling asleep. She was terrified of her own strength. Because of her heavenly restrict. What the fuck? Maki's body was a literal weapon, possessing superhuman power that she constantly had to keep tightly leashed around him. In a moment of passion or loss of control, a sudden tight embrace, she genuinely believed she could snap his ribs or accidentally crush him. To her, he was a fragile, everyday civilian who didn't know the first thing about fighting. That unspoken fear was the real reason they hadn't gone all the way yet. Ren wasn't stupid. You don't date a girl like Maki and casually pass up the chance to be with her. But he understood the deep, seated anxiety that caused her, the absolute dread she felt at the thought of hurting one normal safety gun vibe. You know what? I'm gonna predict what happens. I don't know if this smut goes deeper, but I'm just gonna hope right now. They start fucking, and it's real painful. Also, it says 0.86% at the top. I don't know when to stop. Like, if I scroll more, is that go through? Okay, good. Uh, until he could finally drop his act and show her he wasn't as fragile as she thought. He was perfectly fine with waiting. He wasn't gonna push her into a panic just to lose his virginity. Ren let out an exaggerated dramatic sigh. He smoothly pushed himself and shifted his weight entirely off her, dropping his back next to the sofa. For an over his eyes. Tragic, Ren had panned, staring at the ceiling. Absolutely tragic, defeated by a phantom track coach. My ego was shattered. You know what? I'm gonna be tired. I'm kind of bored of this. Let's see if there's any sex. I'm gonna scroll until I start seeing like signs of sex. What the heck? His relaxed, easygoing posture faded just a fraction, inside the hallway where a heavy weapon case sat. He couldn't stay on the sidelines playing the clueless boyfriend forever. Soon, he would have to show his hand, his near figure how. Blink. Ren frowned, rubbing his eyes. A faint static like hum suddenly vibrated. What the fuck is happening here? Chapter 2? Is there any sex in this? I'm not reading this until there's more sex. System initialized. What the hell? Curse technique. I don't care about that. What the heck? The use. What the hell? Uh, let's read this. Ren stared at the glowing words, his mind completely blanking. System initialization. He blinked hard, but a translucent blue panel stayed locked in the center of his vision, hovering just above the coffee table. Before he could even begin to process the floating text, the first door clicked shut. Actually, Maki's voice drifted over the kitchen, breaking through the unnatural static pressure in the room. She stepped back into the living room, brushing past the island and heading towards. God, I feel like I'm missing context clues right now. Wait, what? You brought clothes? Were they planning to have sex? You brought clothes? Yes, exactly, Ren. He's a genius. Ren asked, his voice miraculously steady. He cast a pointed look toward the front hallway. Unless we got a hoodie stuffed inside that heavy track case of yours you came in empty-handed. Maki stopped right at his bedroom door. She leaned against the frame and looked back at him, her eyes completely flat. No, she said simply. Ren raised an eyebrow. What are you planning on wearing? Maki let out a soft scoff, looking at him like it was the most obvious thing in the world. What do you think your clothes are here for? With that, she disappeared into his bedroom, the door clicking shut behind her. Ren was left alone in the quiet living room, the sound of faint sound of Maki rummaging through his dresser echoing through the wall. Oh, for looking for his undies, huh? I bet she finds his. Hopefully, finds his cum rag. He slowly let out the breath he had been holding. His gaze drifted back to the dead center of the room, right where the cold artificial light continued to hum. The screen was still there, waiting for him. System initialization complete. Ren stared at the floating blue panel, half expecting it to vanish the second he blinked. It didn't. Instead, the word system initialization complete dissolved into a shower of digital sparks, immediately replaced by a cascading list of neatly organized data. Looks exactly like the status screen from a role-playing game. User status, name red, age 17, curse energy level civilian, curse technique none, heavenly restriction none, unique trait, preternatural, preternatural. Did you really call yourself handsome? Shut the fuck up. Red let out a silent B with a breath. He read the last line twice. Preternaturally handsome? Really? That's my unique trait? Not hyper-intelligence or a secret hidden power? Just a good face? Sunday explained the daily proposal at school, but it wasn't going to help him survive a special Greek curse. Before he could dwell on the absolute absurdity of this unique trait, the blue panel flashed. A sharp, distinct ping echoed in his mind, and a new window materialized over his screen. Core ability unlocked. Inheritance via intimacy. Description: the user possesses the unique ability to permanently copy and assimilate the innate curse, technique, curse, energy, traits, or heavenly restrictions of others. Condition for activation: the user must engage in the deepest act of physical intimacy, sexual intercourse with the target. Note this process does not steal or weaken the partner's abilities in any way, but a perfectly harmless replication. Where's Rose? He read the glowing text once, twice, and attempted to make sure his brain didn't short circuit. Wait, hold on. He blinked out his words. To get stronger, I just have to sleep with them? That's the condition. It was completely insane. He had spent months agonizing over how he was going to survive the impending disaster of the digital world, how he could protect Maki without letting her know he possessed meta-knowledge of her universe. And the universe's solution was a little cheat code tied to his sex life. Ah, I wonder why. The system wasn't done. Another small notification popped up, its light reflecting faintly in Ren's dark eyes. Nearby entity detected. Maki Zenin. Affection level, maximum / devoted. Potential acquisition, heavenly restriction. Physical gift. Current status, incomplete, half. System notice. Because the target's heavenly restriction is currently incomplete, the user will only inherit the half version of the physical enhancement upon fulfilling the intimacy condition. To acquire a fully realized heavenly restriction, the target's own restriction must first be completed. Really back against the sofa, his mind racing as the glowing text hung in the air. He knew exactly why Maki's heavenly restriction was incomplete. It was because of a twin sister. Why? Until that tragic knot was untangled, Maki was captured superhuman. But uh, not, I'm trying to figure out a silly way to say his name. Uh, not Tom levels of superhuman. Inheriting a half heavily restricted wouldn't make him a god, but it would instantly elevate him from a fragile civilian to someone capable of throwing a car. Don't know about saying cursor without glasses though, and actually fighting back. A sudden sharp thud from the bedroom snapped him out of his thoughts. Red! Marky caught her for the wall, her voice muffled but distinctly annoyed. Why do you want 4 identical black shirts? I chose to clean one. They're all clean. Ren called back automatically, waving his hand. Yeah, they're all clean, you Marky. Surprisingly, the blue screens instantly minimized and vanished at the gesture, leaving the. When's the sex? I thought there was gonna be sex. Are they gonna have sex yet? I feel like they're gonna start having sex in chapter 3. Never mind, they're making food. I just saw this bottom thing. Is there any sex in this? That's the only. That's I'm. Why do you think I'm reading smut instead of normal fan fiction? His heart was hammering against his ribs. Why can't Maki press on your ribs? Just sit on your face. How many chapters? I thought it was 3 chapters. 5? Panda? Oh, come on. I think this is like the never mind. Oh, this 8.62. I'm gonna guess they just never have sex. Screw it.